It's not a plane, it's not Superman, it's a horseshoe. Welcome everybody to News It's Not For Everybody, Horseshoe UFOs. Stay tuned.
Got one that can see.
Well, welcome back to Visual Disturbance. I'm your host, Brian Reese, and welcome to News It's Not For Everybody, Horseshoe UFOs. You just can't make this stuff up, folks. Horseshoe UFOs, and it's in a little insanity in this world. We just did a program just the other day on News It's Not For Everybody. The unknown objects, the unknown object that's coming in the sky, Nibiru, the Anunnaki, all kinds of nonsense, the second moon that's coming around the bend, so to speak, on the 29th of September, whatever kind of nonsense is going on. But here, welcome to Visual Disturbance. Glad to see you here, everybody. Horseshoe UFOs, let's just get into it. Let's just go back in a little bit of time here, and let's just talk about what happened and what went down back in 2023 in February. Let's just check this out and see what you guys think. Objects shot down over Lake Huron, and they had the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Monday. No, I'm just kidding. Saturday, today, for February the 4th, all these different anomalies and whatnot, and all this different gaslighting of the public. I remember, if I'm not mistaken, our administration would say it was like what, Hobby Lobby balloons. It was equivalent of like some type of balloon that you can get off a car lot that's tied to a antenna of a car. That's the kind of gaslighting we got on the topic, and I thought that was bizarre and absurd, and all logical, critical thinking people out there would be like, why is somebody lying to us, and why is somebody just telling us a bunch of fluff? But guess what? I'm going to play a video here showing you guys a little bit of that day, what come down the pike, what happened, so to speak, on February the 4th. And we got some audio here. Let me know, guys, what you think in the chat, in the description box. If whoever watches this in the future, let's go back in 2023 and see what went down and see what one of the generals had to say about this particular thing that went down that day. Check this out.
Thanks for doing this. This is for General Van Herk. Because you still haven't been able to tell us what these things are that we are shooting out of the sky, that raises the question, have you ruled out aliens or extraterrestrials? And if so, why? Because that is what everyone is asking us right now.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Helene. I'll let the intel community and the counterintelligence community figure that out. I haven't ruled out anything at this point. We continue to assess every threat or potential threat unknown that approaches North America with an attempt to identify it.
So anybody out there, if you're watching this and you're thinking, man, even back then they was contemplating on what it was, but you know, at the time, just to keep the public in a stasis of like unknown. When you think about it, and you really look down upon the information that went back just a year, not even a year ago, well, yeah, over a year ago, and you kind of comprehend the reality. Why would they cover something up that was so like mysterious? You know, why would they send a $400,000 rocket to, guess what, get rid of it, so to speak? So check this out. I have one more video. This one's kind of interesting. It's one moment. Let me pull it up here for everybody. This particular video, what you're getting ready to see here in a little bit, is a video of the Pentagon gentleman talking about what happened that day. Check this out. He kind of makes a little slip up. Let me know what you guys think in the comment box. Here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks very much for your patience while we were delayed a little bit. I have a few things to talk about up top, and then we'll get right to your questions. So first of all, to add to information already provided earlier by the White House, at the direction of the President of the United States, fighter aircraft assigned to U.S. Northern Command successfully took down a high-altitude airborne object off the northern coast of Alaska at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today within U.S. sovereign airspace over U.S. territorial water. On February 9, North American Aerospace Defense Command detected an object on ground radar and further investigated and identified the object using fighter aircraft. The object was flying at an altitude of 40,000 feet and posed a reasonable threat to the safety of civilian flight. U.S. Northern Command is beginning recovery operations now. U.S. Northern Command's Alaska Command coordinated the operation with assistance from the Alaska Air National Guard, Federal Aviation Administration, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We have no further details about the object at this time, including any description of its capabilities, purpose, or origin. The object was about the size of a small car, so not similar in size or shape to the high-altitude surveillance balloon that was taken down off the coast of South Carolina on February 4th.
And with that, folks, I had a little bit of an audio issue, but just ignore that. Turn it up a little bit. You can hear what the gentleman was saying there. This was in 2023. He literally said, it is a craft of some sort. I think he slipped up on that. I don't think he intentionally meant to say that, but that was back in the report, and I thought that was interesting. I pulled it from the internet. The audio was kind of a little bit messed up. That was the best I could get. But what do you think about that? What's going on? What's in our reality? What are they doing? What are they covering up? What have they found? All these locations, a lot of them are, well, besides the one in Canada with the radar anomaly detected, some kind of no object found, so to speak. And then just think, all these anomalies they're talking about here in these so-called crafts that was here. What about the anomaly that was out there out there toward the Antarctica? What was going on with that? What is up with that? And is it tied to this in some shape or form? I don't know. Let's continue on here, though. So here's another, when you got your F-16, your F-22s, and it goes on and talks about what corresponded with the days. So we had Wednesday, February the 1st, Chinese balloon, so to speak, is spotted above in Montana, which I think a lot of people seen those. February the 4th, talking about another Chinese balloon. February the 9th, first UFO detected off the coast of northern Alaska. I thought that was really interesting. February the 10th, UFO was shot down with an F-22 at Dead Horse, keep that in mind, Dead Horse, Alaska, because we're going to get into that in a minute. Saturday, February 11th, second UFO was shot down by an F-22 over Mayo, Yukon, Canada. FAA shoots down airspace over Montana, citing another possible UFO by NORAD, claims it was a radar anomaly. Sunday, February the 12th, third UFO was detected over the Great Lakes, U.S. and the U.S. shot it down by an F-16. So if you remember, folks, like I mentioned to you earlier, $400,000 per little rocket, and they're not going to deploy these type of aerial craft and especially fill them up and have somebody pilot them unless there's some type of unsanctioned. But as far as going over civilian airspace, they're not going to do it unless there's some type of threat. So I thought it was really interesting that they launched and did this attack, because it had to have been something that caused them to deploy the F-16s, the F-22s. If you're just now tuning in, this is News That's Not For Everybody. It's a visual disturbance channel. I like to have fun. I like to bring really interesting topics. I like to just have a fun-filled, humorous program. So please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate it here at the visual disturbance community, because I love talking about a random, wide variety of topics. So check this out. So we talked about, remember just a second ago, on February the 10th on a Friday, talking about Dead Horse, Alaska. Check this out. So guess what the Canadian imagery has just disclosed about what happened this day. Here's the imagery, and you're going to love it. It's a horseshoe. That's what they're even claiming it. There's a horseshoe kind of set up. I mean, doesn't that just look so advanced? This looks like something that was done back in 1955. 55. Back to the Future thing. Anyways, so you have this horseshoe imagery. Unclassified flying phenomenon. So check this out. The other day when we did the unknown object program, does anybody remember what I talked about? And it didn't dawn on me. I said, oh man, what is going on in our paradigm? And is there some kind of paradox going on with all this nonsense? So check this out. When there was a CBS report, the CBS report, Earth will get a second mini moon for 2 months this year. I kid you not. The other day when I did the program, I did not take the time to show everybody what this video included. So I played just a little bit of it, and lo and behold, it's talking about how the size of the comparison to a giraffe. But guess what? There's that sneaky 33, approximately 33 feet in diameter. I thought that was interesting. And you have an average size bus that they're trying to comparison of the mini moon size. So information is coming out of this. I kind of alluded to that in the last episode, that this mini moon is maneuvering. It has a consciousness. People are speculating that it might be a craft. But why is the big astronomers and all these other media outlets are saying it's a mini moon, but you got the 33 feet in diameter? You just can't make this stuff up. This number pops up everywhere, and it's insanity to me. But if you look at the city bus there, average 39 feet long. If you look at the diameter, this could fit the profile of, well, like we said earlier, of this little booger. Well, yeah, I said little booger. So here's the other interesting part. So if you follow me long enough, you know that I love Indian mounds, right? Love Indian mounds. But we're going to get into that in a little bit. I'm going to kind of keep you hanging, a little cliffhanger there. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. We'll stay on this real quick. So approximately 33, the horseshoe, it's a horseshoe, okay? This horseshoe set up, and you go back to this news article. If we scroll down and you look, and I thought, is there something here that I'm missing? So it talks about the second moon. It talks about that they've been monitoring it since August of this year, talking about that it's going to show its little face revolving around the Earth. Check this out. Horseshoe shaped. Is that a mic drop? Maybe, possibly, I don't know. But revolving around the Earth in a horseshoe shape. This article is not that old. Earth, a horseshoe shape, from September 29th to November the 25th. And it's going to be 33 feet in diameter. And it's giving you adult giraffe to give you a perspective. So, why would you categorize it as a mini moon? And they say the moon is like gigantic, right? So why are they even categorizing it as a mini moon? What's going on here, everybody? But a horseshoe shaped. So, horseshoe shape and horseshoe shape. So, why and what is this unclassified imagery of this UFO, and they're calling it horseshoe? People are like, oh, it does look like a horseshoe. So, I thought about it, and I kind of contemplated on what I was going to present and how I was going to present it. So, is there something I'm missing? Is there something about the horseshoe shape that would kind of vex us with something like this? Horseshoe magical properties. good luck, prosperity, abundance, wards off the evil eye, witchcraft, and malevolent fairies. Invokes the sacred power of the horse. So I thought to myself, we had the horse Alaska scenario. We had the horseshoe revolving around the earth, the craft that's supposed to be the mini moon. We have this information that is coming out with this imagery from Canada saying we've caught the imagery of the vehicle. And when you look at that, are we being gaslighted with some type of magic ritual or something to that level? What is it? What do you guys think? And I thought about it, and I kept going on. I kept looking. And so here's this. So a horseshoe is probably the most common recognized good luck symbol in the Western world. The combination of luck, protection, religion, magic that is captivated by the horseshoe symbol means that many people believe it will bring them good fortune and will help war off evil. Man has long believed that the crescent shape was a powerful protective talisman. For the Greeks, it symbolized the moon with the links to Artemis and Diana. In Old England, St. Dunstan nailed a horseshoe to the horse when they was working as a blacksmith. But the horse was actually the devil in disguise, and is caused the devil great pain. St. Dunstan only agreed to remove the shoe after the devil promised never to enter a horse with a horseshoe. And so, the symbol of the protection arose. May this luck horseshoe engulf you in protective aurora, so you are happy, healthy, and prosperous. Magic Lucky Horseshoe, a personal gift to cherish for a lifetime. And I thought it was really interesting. Is there some kind of like weird esoteric understanding that these people are trying to code name us, right? That the little green men are coming. You know, the generals say, you're going to fight little green men. And then now you're going to be fighting the horseshoe, the horseshoe, 33 in diameter mini moons, right? Is there something going on? So I wanted to talk about what the article of this horseshoe, what they class, well, unclassified material, but this is what was written. Should this image be released, it would be via the CAF social media accounts. Given the current public environment and the statements related to the object being benign, releasing the image may create more questions, confusion, regardless of the text that will accompany the post. For your consideration. I wanted to think about that for a minute and really ponder on what's going on. I've disclosed an old document that came out way back in the day. How can you shoot this down? Because, guess what? This UFO FBI document here, it talks about the flying roll. It was in San Diego, California, July the 8th, 1947. It goes on to talk about these larger than average size, let's just say giant-like, human-like men that have remote control and supposedly some type of telekinesis type of properties that they can remotely control the vehicle, and they supposedly are somewhat peaceful, supposedly according to the report. And they're not from this earth, supposedly. And they talk about their, basically they say that they come from the Lakas and the Talas, okay? And they radiate energy. They have these disc-like type of crafts, which when they attack, these crafts, it basically dematerializes and basically vanishes and pops back in. So that brings back into the question the interdimensional hypothesis. So you have this thing that would cause people to panic, and so this materializing, and it's a vibrating rate that it goes into their the matter, like the dense matter, our world. They can maneuver in out of sight and basically go at Mach 45 before you, or 20 or whatever, and they can't track it. And they talk about astral plane, etc. on this document. And then it would dissipate from your vision. And they said anybody with esoteric understanding we'll be able to articulate this document, which it was called in the flying row, which I brought up on many different programs, and I thought it was really intriguing and really good to bring it up on this program. So stay with me, there's more. It's the horseshoe, right? So I thought about it. It's like a French topic. French. I didn't say French. Forgive me, people, if you're French. I didn't mean to say that. It's my Kentucky accent. Fringe topic. A fringe topic. Check this out. So like I alluded to earlier about the Indian mounds, how giants, I like to talk about giants, which this article talks about here, this document, talking about larger. The visitors are human-like, but much larger than us, okay? Pretty much. So here's where I'm at. So we talked about the way it looks like a horseshoe. So guess what? The first thing I thought of, and I'm like, man, Indian mound. These are called hinges. I see them all over the place. And this particular drawing here talks about the winter solstice, the summer solstice, and all that. So I contemplated on the idea. I was kind of just pondering on how and what. Well, guess what? This document here talks about lifelike size human beings that are larger than us, and they're peaceful. They want to inhabit our world. They don't come from our world. They come from the Lakas and the Talas, which means in Hindu like a hell or Sheol or something out of level of Hades, okay? That's what the document says. So they have these remote control vehicles, all these different things. We can talk about the little horseshoe disc, right? So I thought about it. I thought about everything I know about the circumferences of the mounds, the burial sites. There's so much government secrecy with this. People always putting so much emphasis and really locking down these locations and causing a lot of confusion when you want to comment and want to look at these information that is literally in your face. And what did these ancients know? What did these ancient Indians, let's just say that, these cultures and tribes of Indians? And if it's like the account in Ohio where the Serpent Mound is, they don't know that the Indian tribes just migrated to this area and this stuff was already set up shop. So would this be the same thing? Could this be the same thing? I've always made the comment, because I know of a place, no joke, that has one of these, actually two different mounds in the entrance. I kid you not. What we spoke about earlier when we talked about this, when we talked about the 33 feet, I kid you not, two mounds that had a 33-foot entryway to these hinges where these mounds are. It's basically impression in the ground, and you'll see this circumference of a wall, and it'll kind of a little bit of higher elevation, and then it kind of lowers down. It makes an impression. 33 feet, kid you not. So hypothetically, or a little speculation here on the Visual Disturbance channel, could we be seeing something like this? And could this be some imagery? Did the ancients make even the mounds or whatever they did they make something that they seen and created it? That's a huge hunch. Huge. But why? And if you look at all these ancient sites, like this diagram here talks about the summer solstice and the way the sun sets up. And these ancient cities, these ancient towns, villages, they would build based off with the sun rays. So I wonder, what's going on here? And did the hinges of old and how they built it, and then the craftsmanship, was this here before all this started compiling? And whatever they rendered, if they seen things like this, and they wanted to be basically making how a child or even an adult that has an artistic stance, they like clay, modern clay, whatever it is, sculptors, they look at something, they want to render it. It's a what if. It's just a what if. So anybody out there just scoffs at me and says, Brian, you're completely insane. No, it's just a what if. It's like a fringe topic. What are we doing? Why is this here? Why are they saying it's 33 feet in diameter, mini moon, and then this guy shows up in Canada? Suppose that's the imagery of what happened, was shot down on the day of February the 4th and all those other days. And then we also talked about a minute ago when we talked about the dead horse Alaska. All kinds of speculation going on. People going missing in Alaska. Stargate portal that reaches to Hawaii. What is really going on? Are we living in the nightmare? I don't know. But I think the horseshoe symbols, whatever you want to call it, how they symbolize it and how it's all wrapped up. Why is these news and these articles saying horseshoe shaped? So I want to make this clear before I move on and conclude the video. This article, I'm gonna make sure the date's right. Look, this was updated on September the 20th. Okay? But I'm assuring you, when I'm doing this video, on the 25th of September, they released in Canada that horseshoe that we've been talking about during this whole program. They released this imagery. So this came later. So why is this being talked about that it's going to be a mini moon, a horseshoe shape? And I just got off a program just recently. The people who was on the program with me was saying that they heard it was man-made. I'm talking about what this is, the horseshoe shape. So we have an unidentified phenomenon coming at our door on September 29th, and it's supposed to be close to the moon. What is up with that? And then, like I mentioned to the whole program, we have this imagery that came out, and this is the best they can get. And one thing I want to bring up, just my comments and the way I feel about it, to can kind of come to a conclusion on this video tonight. If they couldn't shoot down, based off that document, the three-letter agency back in the day, 1947, San Diego, California, they couldn't shoot them down. Do we have the technology to combat these things? And whatever the payload is in the missile, and it somehow does something to the matter, instead of them dematerializing, the missile must have some kind of payload to be able to offset whatever type of technology. Okay? This is 2024. What is it? People get in a tizzy, they get all panicky, they start panicking about things. But what if there's wizardry in, we're talking about mainstream, and they say horseshoe? Comment below if you know anything about it. If it's an application, if it's a code word that is being gaslit to our public eye, saying horseshoe, 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 and then they show this, and then the document, these astronomers say it's going to be a horseshoe shape going around the Earth, so to speak. What is it? And what do we do? You know, like, these guys have these highly sophisticated type of imagery, and this is all they can get. This is from Canada, though. So I guess they got us beat. Everybody. But yeah, there's a little speculation, a little bit of Indian mound concept, because it was just so, when I seen this, first thing I thought of, I was like, man, it looks like a hinge when I look at the Indian mounds and all the ones I've seen even around my local area. But the 33-foot gap where you can enter, and you have this wall that wraps around, it's like an indention and impression. And that's what it reminded me of. Isn't that intriguing? Isn't that compelling? I don't know. But I hope everybody enjoyed this program, because I sure did. I kind of stumbled upon my words a little bit because, hey, it's visual disturbance. But yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know, news is not for everybody. Horseshoe UFOs. Be on the lookout for September the 29th through November. We're going to see a little bugger. We're going to see a little mini moon coming around the bend, so to speak, revolving around the Earth. It looks like a horseshoe. So comment below. Let me know what you guys think, because I don't know. I'm only documenting these, and I'm trying to get news. It's not for everybody out there, because a lot of people are getting tired of the mainstream. So I'm just trying to bring a little bit of humorous and fun just to this platform. And I hope and pray everybody's enjoying it, because I am. I can only say, how many times can I say that? But anyways, I hope everybody's doing well. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for being part of the Visual Disturbance community. But keep an eye out for the horseshoes. Like I said at the beginning of the program, it's not a plane, it's not Superman, it's a horseshoe. It's a horseshoe. Until next time, Visual Disturbance, I am out of here. See you on the next time the news is not for everybody.
Huh?